Hey guys, Braden Marr here. In this video today, we're going to talk about how we can keep meal prep simple. I know that this is a very daunting task for many people, and I'm here to tell you that it does not have to be that way. So if you are, say, like a regular 9 to 5er, you go into an office every single day, or you're a shift worker, say you're like a firefighter, a nurse, or maybe you travel a little bit, I believe it would be wise to prep for a couple of days in advance. Now, I know some people who go 5+ days, depending on what they're cooking. I personally like to do 3, which is why I fall under the two birds, one stone, which I'll get to. But 3 to 5 days in advance, or maybe you have a 2 day shift and 2 days in advance, obviously, this is where you simply prep all of your meals for however many days that you are going to be gone. Now, I would plan this out and ask yourself, okay, well, what meals do I absolutely need to bring with me? So if you're a 9 to 5er, maybe you're eating breakfast at home, there's one meal that you don't have to prep. And maybe for you, it's only bringing the lunch. Or if you're a shift worker and you're working like some 12s or maybe 24s or something like that, then maybe you need to prep all of your meals, right? Your breakfast, lunch, dinner, and or snack. This gives you an advantage simply because like you don't have to make decisions on the spot and you're less likely to make, let's just say, some mistakes that most Americans make. For example, we skip breakfast, we go to work, and lunchtime hits. We'll swing through Five Guys, burger and fries, whatever it is, and on the way home, maybe we grab something else, and then we eat a massive dinner at night. That's most Americans, right? So if we can simply plan out a nutritious breakfast, we can bring with us to work a nutritious lunch. That way, okay, now I only have one decision to make, and that's dinner. The less decisions that you can make, the better off you'll be, especially if your goal is weight loss. I'm constantly saying this, and a lot of my messaging is the more planned out that you are, the more effective that you're going to be. Not that you can't have flexibility, which you most certainly should, even with meal prepping. For example, like, I have some clients who, yes, they prep all of their meals out. Sometimes, like if coworkers want to go out to eat, they'll allow themselves to go out to eat. But the point being is that meal prep, it alleviates you having to make a decision and removes any sort of leeway for error. Now, the two birds, one stone approach, that's the one that I personally take. So I work from home. I have that luxury. Now, this is where we are, say, cooking a fresh meal, whether it be breakfast or dinner, and then we simply take leftovers, measure them out, and use them for the following day. It could be a lunch, it could be any meal really. So this is effective for also 9 to 5ers. Say you prefer your meals to be a little bit more fresh, then hey, two birds, one stone approach might be best for you. The reason I call it two birds, one stone is because like you're saving less time. You're saving time because you're already taking the time to cook. So why not just prep out a couple meals while you're doing it? And it doesn't have to necessarily be the meal that you're cooking to eat right now. You could be, say, making your breakfast, say it's like eggs and oatmeal or something like that, and at the same time you're over there putting some rice in the rice cooker. Maybe you're popping some chicken and vegetables in the air fryer. That's an example too. This is also effective for shift workers too. Like really anybody can do it, even if you're traveling. Maybe if you're traveling for several days and you need to prep for several days in advance, this is also an effective route to take. Now, how can we be most efficient with meal prepping? Now, everybody's cooking skills are different. I am not a master chef, so I'm probably not the best one to watch on this. But what I can say is that I have a lot of clients who are very efficient with their time and they don't spend any more than 30 minutes a week meal prepping if they are doing it strategically. So there's different options that you can choose from. One that I didn't mention on here that's the easiest that I personally like to use is a crock pot because it's simply pushing a button. Same thing with baking, air frying, rice cooker, microwave. Like all this stuff is really simple. If you want to go the extra mile and grill and you want to invest into your cooking and baking skills, by all means, like have at it. But we want to knock as much out as we can in one sitting, ideally, so that we are saving time. I'm a big fan of habit stacking. So, like, while you're meal prepping, you could also be doing other things. Like, maybe that's some other chores around the house, or maybe it's reading a book. Like, maybe it's something to do with work. Like, I know, like, this is something like my wife and I will do together sometimes, is that's just some time that we spend together, which is cooking. So, if you do find it as like daunting in a chore, find a way to make it fun. And that's why, again, I'm a big fan of habit stacking. There's also something else that I personally do, like because I work at home, I typically opt for the two birds, one stone approach, but I look for easy meals, right? And maybe I'm not providing the best examples because, again, everybody's dietary preferences are different. So anything with protein powder. So, for example, like one of my staples is non-fat Greek yogurt, scoop of protein powder, and sometimes I'll throw fruit in there. Sometimes I'll throw like some oats on top or like some granola and even some nut butter. It's super simple, delicious, really easy to make, and doesn't really take me a lot of time. There's also proats, which is like oatmeal with a scoop of protein. You could also do fruit and peanut butter. You could also do a shake. There's so many different things that you can do with protein powder. And also like your staples. Like if they're ready to go, then if they're in a Tupperware, pop them in the microwave. There you go. There's also like other options like boiled eggs and fruit. That's one of my go-tos. Some people might find that a little odd, but that is my like travel go-to, especially like when we're flying or we're going across the country, whatever it is. Like that's the easiest meal for me to bring about is something convenient like that. Other options, maybe like rice cakes. Again, anything with protein powder. Jerky is a good option. There's so many different options out there. I mean, maybe there's something I'm not aware of, but simply plug this into ChatGPT and say, hey, what other options do you have for easy meals? And like I mentioned before, is like invest into cooking skills. If you're more efficient with the way you prepare food, then the easier meal prepping is going to be. Now, if you're somebody who you can afford to allocate the resources for the convenience, then maybe a meal prep service is for you. My personal favorite is MegaFit. I believe they're the best bang for your buck for overall quality and serving sizes. I have a lot of clients who offer this who just simply don't have the time, or maybe they're traveling quite a bit, or some people just don't like cooking. So if you find that that's you, then there's nothing wrong with using a meal prep service. Like, yes, there are going to be times where you have to cook meals fresh, but if cooking is just something that you're not about, maybe it's too stressful fitting into your schedule or whatnot, then there is meal prep service. And yes, you can eat out too. Now, the best way to do this, especially if you're in a fat loss journey, is to look at the menu ahead of time. Again, I always talk about planning. Make a decision, plug it into your calorie counting app, and then reverse engineer the rest of your meals. That way it's really simple. But again, like I don't think there's anything wrong with having the flexibility. Say that you are like a 9 to 5 or shift worker, whatever your situation is, and you have your day planned out and there's an on-the-spot decision like, hey, I'm going to be eating out. Give yourself that flexibility. There's nothing wrong with doing that. But again, I just think the most accurate way to go about this is to make a decision ahead of time, browse the menu. That way you're not like most people sitting in the restaurant and they're just, looking at the menu thinking about doing what feels good, which again, I'm all for enjoying your food, but the less decisions that we make on the fly, on the spot, the more accurate that we're going to be and the less room for error that there's going to be, especially if you're in a weight loss journey. So there you have it. I hope this made it really simple for you. Just remember that like meal prep, it's not there to take away or anything like that. It's actually there to save you time. And if you do prioritize your health, weight loss, performance goals, physique goals, like whatever the case is, then you're going to have to take the time to prepare your meals. Cooking is a life skill. If you think about it right now, like back in the 60s and before time, then there wasn't such thing as all these like packaged foods that are, I mean, everybody's opting for convenience at this time because we're all stretched so thin with time. Because I mean, everybody and every company is like dying for our attention, right? So I do believe like if some people have limiting beliefs around cooking, again, if you can make it work and use a meal prep service, like knock yourself out. But I would never look at investing into your cooking and investing into meal prepping as a waste of time. That is a great investment to make. And again, if it is something that becomes a chore to you, like I would try to reframe your mindset to, hey, this is actually going to pay off big for me and my health. Like literally meal prepping could save some people's lives. That's a way to look at it. And again, habit stack. If it really is a chore to you, like try to find a way to make it fun. But regardless, like we have to have a good mindset around meal prepping. It's there to help you. Hope you guys found value in this video. If you'd like more one-on-one assistance with your weight loss journey, book in a call with me. We'll discuss where you're at currently and ultimately where you're trying to go. Thank you guys. Stay healthy and God bless.